A little unboxing. My winter boots from JK. We're in the little cabin tonight. Got a little fire going over there. And we're going to do a little unboxing here somehow. And Miss Mew's here to help. Watch out yourself. Alright, it's been kind of a battle with these guys. I am actually wearing a pair of JKs. They're holding up good, but the fit isn't what it should have been for the amount of money that I paid. The soles, I got them, I believe, in April. Not 100% sure about that, but I'm pretty sure it was April. And the dog's over here eating his food. And they don't... They just didn't fit right. I don't know what the deal was. I ended up having to send them back 3 times. The sole on them is pretty much flat on the ball of the foot. And I mean, they're holding up really well. The stitching is holding up really good, but if you look at how you know, my little toes poking out right there, you know, my big toes kind of poking out in here. They were just too tight, and that's with a very thin sock. So being as tight as they are and with a thin sock this time of the year, you can imagine my feet are pretty cold. Buckin would be pretty happy with that, wouldn't he? It's not big enough, though. Anyways. You know, it comes with the false tongues, and I believe that's what they call them, false tongues, and leather laces. I am a fan of the leather laces. They hold up pretty well for me. As a matter of fact, these laces that are in these JK boots are the original laces. I do have some fresh ones right here that are all actually open offs and getting ready, and they're if I ever need them in a hurry. A lot of times I like to pre-stretch my laces too. I'll actually put them, you know, I'll tie something to the end of them, hang them over a nail, and stretch them a little bit. It actually makes them a little bit stronger and last a lot longer. Just a trick that I've learned. But you got to make sure that you get the open offs to them. I prefer open offs. I've also used Hubert's shoe grease, which works really well also. I go back and forth. I use the shoe grease more in the winter because it's softer and it gets into the oil or into the leather a little bit easier with less heat. But I don't think it waterproofs quite as well as the Open Offs, because the Open Offs has propolis in it and wax. I think the Hubert's grease does as well. Because this is what it looks like. It's fantastic stuff. Well, yeah, it does have beeswax in it for waterproofer. But in my opinion, and the amount that I've used this, like I said, I really like it in the summer, or the winter rather. Sorry, because it's a softer consistency than the Open Offs, and it gets into the boot a little bit easier. And I'm not standing in water most of the time in the winter. You know, wet snow and stuff like that. I actually have rubber cork boots, or caulk boots, that I bought for the mud and the water and stuff like that. So that's what I typically wear. Now these are going to be my everyday boots. So these are the exact same thing as what I'm wearing on my feet, except they should have a composite toe. The tongue comes all the way up to the top, which is nice. It's a 10-inch boot. It is the same sole, Red X Vibram, as what's on mine. I guess they didn't quite finish off that piece of leather. Sorry about the light right there, as you can see, but it is what it is. They did a nice job on the fit and finish of it. My lighting isn't the greatest. I'm sorry about that. It's kind of, let's try this. Let's see. It's not the greatest, but you get the idea. It's really well polished. Rough out. Always go with rough out on my work boots, and then I like the the rough in, smooth leather on the top. Just I like it that way. And these are insulated. They do not have an insole in them. You can see it goes into the leather. This is a leather hole or heel. I don't know what you call it, honestly. It's extra leather, the black down there, and you can see it goes into the veg tan in there. They didn't last very long on my other ones. These actually look a little bit lighter in color than mine were originally. My other ones, these look like more of a mocha color, which I'm okay with. I am perfectly fine with that. They're going to darken up as soon as you put open offs on them anyways, or whatever. Anyways, as I was saying about the other boots, right in this area, from that, I don't know, second screw down on the left to the third screw and right straight across is basically flat on my other boots. They're holding on good. They're just wearing out real fast. I walk somewhere around, I had a step counter for a while. I walk somewhere around 14 to 16,000 steps a day. And in my previous profession, hauling fuel, I was on pavement and concrete most of the time. So the next part is going to be trying them on, making sure they actually fit like they should. Spokane, Washington, JK Custom Boots. They are a very nice boot. They're a little bit rough and rugged, which is exactly what I like. That is my style. But they're not so rough and rugged that I wouldn't wear these out for dinner. But that's just me. I actually, depending on how well these fit and how well everything holds up, I probably am going to buy a pair of the shoes that they make, the more dressier type shoes. Oh, look at that. They even sent me some Obanoffs. That's the oil. That's the good stuff. So the oil, awesome. Works great all year long. I typically use the Obanoffs LP. As you can see, that's been well used and lid's cracked. I use that a lot in the summer. I'm on hot tractors, hot equipment a lot, hot pavement, stuff like that, and that works really well. But the oil, now that's a game changer. That would be obviously liquid, comparatively speaking to even the Hubert shoe grease. So even this time of the year, it'll get right into the leather in great shape. Of course, these are going to have to be that is composite toe. These are going to have to be treated before I even go out with them. But the nice thing is, too, is I'll actually be able to take the other boots off and let them dry out. I try to wear like a lacrosse rubber shoe most of the time. If I don't have to wear boots and the water and the mud isn't too bad, I will wear that to and from the log job, and then I just put my caulk boots on when I get there. So I try to give them a break, but I don't think they ever quite really dry out. I do have boot dryers that work really well, but I like to give them a day or two to work, get nice and dry, nice and warm, and then I just about a week ago took them all apart, took the false tongue out, took the laces out, reopened everything on the inside, cleaned everything, did everything, like an oil change basically for your boots. I don't know how well this angle is going to work, but we're going to try it. No laces in the boots yet. Always put my right boot on first. There's a whole bunch of psychology behind that, having a routine and how you do things. And you change one thing in your routine and it's a butterfly effect and the whole day changes for you. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but yeah, it's just kind of interesting. I've experienced it in my own life. So, my initial reaction putting the boot on, it fits about perfect. Actually, there's plenty of room in the toe box after a try-on pair and a few other things. Fantastic. That's with the right boot, no laces, no false tongue, no nothing. So, obviously we're going to try on the left boot, make sure there's no lumps or anything in it. The left boot is just about as good. Left boot's a little bit more snug. One thing I did notice is the other boots that are over by the wood stove now drying, they originally had composite toe in them. These are actually fiberglass toe. I misspoke earlier. These are fiberglass toe. They are molded to basically my foot dimensions through measurements. Now, I've been using those since like April, like I said, about April, with no composite toe in them, and the amount of times that I needed a hard toe was probably 2 or 3 times. Where, you know, I dropped something on my foot and it hurt. And even still, I mean, I didn't break any toes, didn't hurt myself, didn't have to go to the hospital, nothing like that. So, it's not a necessary thing. And I went with fiberglass instead of steel, you know, or, well, instead of steel because steel's colder in the winter, for sure. And because composite, they were standard toe. Like, they figured out what size you were, and they put the toe in there, and I think that's why it didn't work for me. I have a lot wider toe box than a lot of people do. And like I wear about roughly 11.5 triple E is what I almost wear, and I usually have to go up to a 12 double E for my foot to be comfortable. But obviously with having a bigger boot, you wear the boot off, the heel off sideways and everything like that, so it's not good for you. But anyways, as I was saying about the toe, in those originally were composite toe, and they just did not fit. I could not get my pinky toe in. Matter of fact, my left pinky toe, I think I still have I think the mark's still there from that long ago, and the pinky toe's not quite in these fiberglass toes. But the pinky toe was actually butting up against the edge of the composite toe. And even I did everything. I even put open offs on my bare foot and put it in there, and it still was so uncomfortable. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't wear the boots. I sent them back. They sent them back to me with the toe still in it. Still didn't work. Sent them back again. They took the toe out, and the boot's been fine ever since. Pretty tight still in a lot of places, but the boot's been fine since. Now with this pair of boots, I can tell you right now already, they have been they did what I asked them to do. They're already more comfortable. I haven't even walked around in them yet. I'm going to get it, like I said, I'm not going to go anywhere with them until they get oiled and anything like that. But just having them on my feet like they are right now, they're not uncomfortable. It's going to take a couple days to break them in where the arch is and stuff like that. But they're pretty comfortable boots. Tim and Isaac, I believe, was the one that built these boots over there at JK. He was the one that I spoke to about building them. And Tim over there at JK. Tim, you know, he worked with me. He was patient with me. I'm a hard customer a lot of the times. And they did a fantastic job with listening to me and the customer service. And you're gonna get a cat in your face apparently. And their customer service is bar none. I mean, it's fantastic. I can't speak for many other boot companies. This JK is the first company I ever went to for custom boots. I've worked. I've been to Redhead. I actually bought Chippewas. Is what I used to buy all the time. And back when Chippewas would actually have boot shops. I was in a boot shop in North Carolina, and they actually sized the boot to my foot. And that was the last pair of good Chippewas that I had. And obviously, you know the story with Chippewa. So I'm pickled tink with these boots. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of break-in and a lot more to review on them. But just my initial unboxing and putting them on my feet with no laces or anything, I'm happy. I'm happy with them. Way happier than I was originally. I feel a little bit of discrepancy in where the big toe is on the left boot, and a little bit on the right boot, but my foot would have to slide forward a considerable amount for it to even get to that point. It's noticeable, but once I get my hand in there and oil it and stuff like that, it may be, you know, something, piece of leather or something where it's folded, I don't know. But yeah, that's my boots, my JK boots. They are very nice looking boot. I'm going to get them laced up and put a couple of still shots, but just so you can see these boots, now that they're not on my feet, obviously they're covered in mud, but smooth upper, smooth out, rough lower. You can see how dark they are. Like I said, I don't believe they were a mocha. I got the dryers in them right now, but look how wore out the bottom is. I mean, the Vibram isn't holding up. I mean, right in that area, it's flat. There's nothing there at all. But like I said, those are the original laces. There's not. I've trimmed the ends off of them because I have a cat that apparently likes to chew the ends of my laces. But I mean, those boots have been worn just about every day, minus some of the nicer days where I wore, like I said, like rubber shoes, like lacrosse shoes or something, just slip-on shoes from home to the job. They've been worn every day, and they still stand straight up. They're made out of fantastic leather. You can tell they're not stiff. I mean, they're broke in really well. But they have great craftsmanship. I've not had any issues with the hooks. I've not had any issues with the eyelets. I've not had any issues with the actual building of the boot. And I almost guarantee that I won't have any issues with these in that respect either. But time will tell. And those boots are going to have to go back for a resole probably the end of winter. I'm going to get them all cleaned up, get them saddle soap now that I'm going to obviously wear them for a little while longer while I get these broken. Get them saddle soap washed, cleaned up, get everything ready to go, send them back to them to be resold before spring, because I like those boots in the winter or in the summer. In the spring when it's warmer, my feet they don't sweat to the point where, you know, they smell horrible when you take boots off. Of course, that's partly because of the open offs, but that's also because the boot's also built properly to where it actually gets, you know, air to your foot. And it's not, you know, when you take them off at night, make sure you put them somewhere where they at least dry partially, or mostly. I mean, like I said, if you wear them every single day, it's hard to get them dry unless you put a boot dryer in them, which I do when it's wetter and more when I sweat more. But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about them. Like I said, I can't compare them to Whites or Nicks or anybody like that. Price wise, they're all about in the same ballpark, but their customer service was fantastic.